Friends, fans, followers, Mark Spencer. You got questions, I got answers on the rod bolt failures, the video that I put up and the other post I put up. I talked to some pretty important people in the business today. This is strictly regarding aluminum connecting rods, the bolt failures, where the bolts are popping while the engines are sitting dormant. It has to do with the aluminum, either improper torquing and stretching of the bolt, or a combination of that and also the expansion of aluminum. Aluminum expands twice as much as steel, right around twice as much as steel rod does, okay? And when you're torquing the bolt for stretch, okay, like a 7/16 bolt torques to like 6.377, 0.0063, 0.0077 stretch. You go beyond that, you have an inaccurate torque wrench, or you get carried away. You go about 1,000 past the high end of 7.7, you're into the yield point of a bolt. And the yield point of a bolt is when it's no longer elastic, okay, where it'll bring itself back. You'll stretch a bolt to 6 thousandths, you'll remove it from the rod. It'll be the exact same length it was pre-6 thousandths, okay? So once you go beyond the yield point, that's where the rod bolt's ready to fail. You are no longer elastic, you become plastic. Elastic will rebound. Plastic stays permanently deformed, okay? So this has a lot to do with it. Between over-torquing, inaccurate torque wrenches, not using the lube that the rod manufacturer is telling you to use, not necessarily ARP, but the rod manufacturer, and also harsh environments, okay? Either at brittle aluminum, something that's not properly manufactured, or harsh chemicals in the oils can attack these bolts. That whole thing, handling white gloves with the ARP L19s and, you know, everybody I talk to, okay? It's just smoke and mirrors. ARP's covering their ass, okay? I've never done it. And even stretching bolts, okay? I'll take half a set and I'll check them in my rod vise. I'll check them and see where they want to be. And by the way, I stopped using the ARP assembly lube. They're both lube. I'm using this CDM high pressure grease. My rods that I have came from Tom Molnar Technologies. Tom and Gary out there. Gary's a great guy. Spent some time talking to him today. This is what the rods come delivered with. They're ARP bolts, but they come with this on it, not the black Molly shit. Even though the ARP says not Molly, they claim it's their own secret of whatever, okay? Listen, they're the biggest player in the industry, but I'm going back to when we had SPS bolts, Chevy pink rods, Mr. Gasket rod bolts I was using, you know what I mean? They weren't just a cap bolt, you know, they were a bolt and a nut, okay? Never had a rod kick out anyway, all right? Because they did what I was told to do the right way. I learned from the right people. So, let's repeat it one more time. Don't worry about your steel rods. Both of the videos, Steve Morris, I couldn't watch his whole video, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm going on too long, too. I'm trying to make this short, but I couldn't watch the whole video. He goes all over the place. But you saw Clay Millican, if you did watch that video, Clay Millican's top fuel driver, talking about they back off the rod bolts, main bolts, and head studs on top fuel cars, and I think alcohol cars, a lot of top guys do it too. They back them off at the end of the day. When the cars are being backed out of the trailer, when they're pulling into the pits, they don't even have a real engine in there. They just got a block in there to keep the frame straight and keep it rigid for trailering, okay? Those engines are just sitting on a stand, and all the hard fasteners are untorqued because there's been issues, misapplication, misuse, wrong lubricant, whatever it might be. For instance, one of the rod manufacturers I talked to today, the owner I talked to him, I can't mention his name. You know why? Too many fucking keyboard cunts out there that are going to try and prove me wrong with what I'm saying right now, or going to try and prove the guy that knows more than I'll ever fucking forget about this stuff. If they have anything to say about them, it's going to make my balls swell. So, not talking about that, all right? I can't mention these people by name. It's not a secret. I'm protecting them from being abused by, not you majority of fans, you know, little fucking faggots, the little fucking weasels that live in their mom's basement. But he and his set of aluminum rods that is used by the majority of top fuel teams and alcohol teams, they torque to the stretch number 3 times to burnish that bolt into the aluminum rod. You don't have to be doing this on steel. Aluminum, though, you want to take a set, and they want the threads in the rod. And he's also told me that he's taken an L19 bolt, torqued that thing with a breaker bar on an aluminum rod, and actually broke the bolt before he pulled threads out of the rod. Okay, pretty amazing stuff. So, I hope that helps. I'm trying to think. I know I'm forgetting stuff, guys. It's a long day, but maximum stretch on a bolt, which is calculated by engineers, not us, maximum stretch on a bolt is when you're within 75 to 80% of the bolt's yield. Yield is when it wet the bed, okay? You understand that? If you got a rod that's supposed to be stretched to 7.7, if you go to like 8.7, you go 1,000 past it, you're in a really sketchy area. I know a lot of guys are, don't fucking tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I've talked to people that do this for a living, that make this stuff, okay? I didn't know about this rod bolt failure stuff until about a month and a half ago when I saw that other guy with the baseball cap on. Both of those guys, Steve Morris and that other guy with the baseball cap, I don't know his name, Joe somebody, not being insulting to you, buddy, if you're watching, but both of them had aluminum rod motors, okay? The failure's there, it's been there. The guy I talked to said it's been there at least 15 years and they've known about it. I never heard about it. But then again, I never worked on a top fuel team. I never talked to a top fuel guy like one-on-one where they'd even tell me about this stuff. So, once again, you don't have to use this. You use your ARP stuff. Main thing I hate about the ARP stuff is the black shit all over my face when I pick my nose. I got a black ring around there. I scratch my ear. I got a black ring around there. This stuff looks just like a green axle grease. But this stuff is used by K1 Technologies on their steel rods, and aluminum rod guys use this. They also use straight 50 weight oil, okay? None of them are using the ARP stuff. And I'm not knocking ARP guys, not at all. Just saying, they're not using it in that application. Think about these guys, the divers on a top fuel engine, putting that bottom end together. You see them sitting there pasting those fucking bolts? No, they don't have time. They'd be dropping the bolts all over the ground and picking up grit. They're using CDM right there. Okay, Mark Spencer, Spencer Speed Shop, Spencer Cycle Shop. Over and out. Negative comments will be deleted. I don't have any skin in the game here. I'm not making a dime off of this. I'm trying to help you guys, my friends, my fans, my followers. And you keyboard cunts, get the fuck out of Dodge. You make my balls swell. Goodbye.